Hi, Kaustubh. So glad to have you on my podcast. Really looking forward to having this podcast since a very long time. So I'm excited.
Yeah, we have been planning this, so finally the stars have aligned.
Yes, yes.
So,
Okay, so my first question to you is running has become the new rage for fitness, and we see a lot of running enthusiasts. But I think it is important to understand what is the right way to go about it. So, can you just help the audience understand what is the right way to plan from, like couch to 5K, then 10K, and then, half marathon and then full marathon?
yeah, so running obviously has become the new rage in India. It's one of the easiest ways to stay fit. If you see, there's events every weekend, so there's added motivation. Whether you're 10 years old or you're 80 years old, 90 years old, there is an event that you can participate in, whether it's a 5K or a 3K senior citizen walk, or a 10K or a 21 or a 42. What we do need to understand is that the rage is great and the motivation is great. But the first thing I always tell anyone who comes to me is that before you enroll into any race or a coaching program, you need to get certain medical tests done. So your basis now, if you are about 30, has to be a medical test. So your basic blood labs, ECG, a stress test, and then a 2D echo. And after, based on that, with a proper medical consult, if need be, which probably 90% of the times there is no need if you're fit and healthy, any other test that a doctor may recommend. Once you get that green line that my internal system is working, you have to start setting the tone that, okay, I have never, maybe you exercised in your 20s or 30s and now you want to take up running. A lot of females come that, they get busy in their work, they get busy as a mom, and now the kids have started going to school, so now they rightfully want to invest in their own health. So the first thing is to enroll for a couch to 5K program, and that's where the basis starts, where you should give yourself anywhere between 3 to 6 months. That's a safe way to get yourself to that level. Once you achieve that target of a 5K non-stop jog, then you should take up the next challenge, would be a 10K. And again, I would say any of these subsequent steps, so from a 5K to a 10K, give yourself at least 6 months to achieve that target, because a lot of things change, and I'm sure we will discuss these in the podcast. What happens is, once you get to a 10K, then you want to do a half marathon naturally. But it may seem easy that you're going from 10 to 21, but it's not that. It's time on your feet.
Yes.
Right? If you're running a 10K, for example, in 1 hour, now you can't just multiply and say, okay, so 10K in 60 now times 2 is 2 hours plus whatever 6 minutes. It's not like that.
Correct.
You have to train for it. So give yourself another 6 months to get to a half marathon. Do a multiple half marathon. That's a number one mistake I see in amateurs, that they do one half marathon and then they want to reach the ultimate goal, which is a full marathon. That's it. And that has to be done within 3 months of doing a half. No, do multiple halves, understand how your body reacts to it, and then sign up for a full.
Correct. So it's like a transition. And then how much would it be like, if somebody is like, from couch to 5K and then, they move on to, let's consider just half marathon right now. What would be generally the transition period? Like if they are regular with the workout plans that you have given, what would you consider?
I would say anywhere between 12 to 15 months.
That's a good time.
What you should keep. Now, I always tell people that if I see you're progressing faster, nothing like it. But on a safety level, considering today's environment, everyone's personal situation is different, professional situation is different, 12 to 15 months is a good guideline.
That means you need to invest your good time into this, and it should be more consistent.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And we will talk about this, but it's not just about running, right? Like there is allied things that need to happen,
So true.
that have to be covered.
Yeah.
So you're training for a 10K or a half marathon or a full marathon, but there are certain steps, whether it's cross training or strength training, that need to come in, and the importance of that.
Correct. So now, it so happens like men and women feel like, the training needs or the nutrition needs are more or less similar to each other. Is that true? Or is it different for men and women?
See, in a general 80% rule of thumb, it is true, but then there is always 20% exceptions to the rule, and it's mostly on the female sides because of the hormonal changes which happen, whether it's through your menses or through pre-menopause, after menopause, whatever that is. If someone is generally healthy and fit, the training will change around your menstrual cycle. Is that based on your personal situation, we will have to adapt the training on that, whatever, 4 days, 7-day period, whatever that is. Per se, there is no change in the training plan. It is not that women can't keep up with a higher regimen like a man would, or no. Women are equally capable of doing similar workouts. Rather, there's been a lot of data that suggests that because of the higher estrogen content, women do tend to recover much faster than males.
That is there.
So if I have two people who are on the same level, male and female, only time I would change it is when I have been told that, okay, it's now time for my monthly cycle. Then I will alter the week or 10 days.
So you do change. I mean, that is also something, like, does it change? As per the monthly cycle, does the training change? Like, the days when, probably the phase where the energy levels are on the higher side, the exercise can be done more, and otherwise.
Yeah.
Do you change it that way?
Again, there are females who are more open in this relationship, who will share this private information with me. In these specific situations, I will make the changes.
Okay.
There are still trainees or people I consult who are not that transparent. They are a little shy or whatever that is. And in that sense, then there is a specific guideline that I tell them that when it's time, this is what I expect you to do.
Correct.
You can either miss a workout or you can go for a walk or do whatever it is. And then there is an understanding that, hey, it's my time. So on my end, I have to be empathetic that you do what you have to do. And then whenever you're ready, we get back on track.
Amazing. So the thing is, like, now when, both men and women, when they are training, what happens is, there could be worry about injuries. Okay. And what are the key things that, beginners need to keep in mind when they are training so that they are not prone to injuries? Because we see this very common these days, like, okay, you start training, you start running, but then you just have to hold back because there are injuries.
So injuries, in my experience, I will give you the two major reasons that I have experienced. Like, there's 1,000 other reasons we can talk about, but in the interest of time, I will highlight the two most important. One is that people either tend to come out too fast, so they want to increase their pace, or too soon. That, like I said, they've been running maybe 3K and now all of a sudden they sign up for a 10K. Their body is just not going to adapt. What is the natural progression? You're going to get injured.
True.
The second is lack of improper footwear, which is huge. That you need to invest in running shoes. And what is the trend, unfortunately, is people, especially when they enter a program, they buy what's on sale. They don't see that if this shoe is for running or it's for running X distance or Y distance, right? They don't understand, or if they approach a professional, that there's a reason why there is a low arch or a medium arch or a high arch. So based on your arch, there has to be shoes that are specifically recommended for you.
And you help in those
I do help,
also?
but most of your, not that it's a shameless plug, I don't work with any shoe brand in particular, but most of your running stores will do that. They will check your arch and then they will recommend that based on this arch. It's a very simple test. If anyone can do it at home, just take a plain printer paper, white paper, and dip one of your, ideally you should do it on both legs. Just dip it in water and stand on it. And there's ample tools on the internet that will tell you, or you can upload that photo and it will tell you what type of arch. And then again, thanks to AI, you can just give a command that, okay, I have this arch, which shoes are recommended for me.
Amazing.
So even if the professional is not there, and not everyone has access to a coach, not everybody wants access to a coach, this is something you can do very easily.
Definitely. So it is not the brand, but it is, what suits your feet.
Absolutely. I mean, I have 10 different trainees, and more than likely, majority of them are maybe wearing one brand, but there's a difference, right? Not everyone is wearing the same brand.
True.
Cannot work that way.
True.
So what works for you may not work for me, and what works for me may not work for you. I won't take any names, but for the longest time in my running career, I wore a certain brand, and then 2 years back it stopped working. I started getting a lot of itching and shoe bites, and I had to change out of it. So brands also keep redesigning their shoes, so something or the other will change. It's fluid.
True. And what would be the other things that people should keep in mind to avoid injuries?
Well, strength training is the most important after. The reason why, and that's why I got the comment out, that it's not just a running program. Running program is 3 days, 4 days, 5 days a week, but if your frame is not healthy or strong, you are going to get injured. Your body has to be able to take the load. So compared to swimming or cycling, running is a high impact sport.
Yes.
Swimming and cycling are easy. There's no gravity movement. You're not pounding. Running, your knees, your posterior circle has to be able to handle the load. What does that mean? That your quads, your calves, your hamstrings, knees, lower back, which people tend to ignore, those have to be strengthened. Again, even if you don't think you're using your upper body, you are using your upper body to maintain that posture while running. Otherwise, you see people leaning forwards or backwards, and then again, that's another cause of problem. So what is the best way around it is to do basic strength training. And again, it's not that I'm sending you to the gym to become a weightlifter or a bodybuilder. No, this is a supplement.
Supporting it.
It is a supporting activity where most of us should be able to do a circuit training program 2 days a week, hit all the muscle joints. Again, we are going more for muscular endurance. We are not doing the 1 rep max and 4 rep max. No, spend half an hour, 45 minutes in the gym 2 days a week, and then spend 5-10 minutes on your core. That's all you need.
So is it like, you had told me this once when, I had taken a program with you. It is like, you need to focus on either endurance good enough, or then, the strength training good enough. Because, both places, if you start focusing, then you tend to fail somewhere. Is that true?
It is true, because your body can only handle an X amount of load. Otherwise, fatigue is going to set in, right? So in the gym, if you keep on going hard and hard and hard, and you're doing 3 days a week, let's say, for example, you go to the gym and you're doing it Monday, Wednesday, Friday, what's going to happen if you do legs on Monday? What happens to your Tuesday workout? Whether it's run or cycle or swim, you're dead, you can't move.
Correct.
So that's why I said focus on one goal at one time. If you want to improve in running, then use, strength training as supportive. But if you want to have strength training as because some people love strength training, that's it, that's their high, they want to hit that, and then they want to use cardio as means to stay fit. So then hit hard, but then don't do speed work, don't do tempo work, do your runs or cycles or swim, whatever it is, just as easy. Just a great way to exercise your heart.
So true. So in this all training schedule, what is the role of nutrition and what is the role of hydration? I would like everybody to know about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, so I'm primarily an Ironman athlete, right? So it's always said that the fourth discipline of Ironman, or the fourth discipline of a triathlon, is nutrition. And race day is the day, I always say this, that race day is the day where you put everything together, right? So that 360 days, 364 days, whatever you have trained, everything has to come together on that one day. So what you do on the other days, those 360 days, is going to set you up for your best day or whatever that is. So nutrition is very important. Again, for most of us, you don't have to go into any kind of, whether it's a low carb, high fat, or gluten free, or a paleo, or any kind of diet. Just eat basic things, manage your protein, very important. If you get into an exercise program, manage your protein content, be smart about your carb intake, and rely on natural sugars. I think we miss out on that point in India, where it's a shame, because we are blessed as a country that we have named the month and we have a fresh fruit available.
Absolutely.
That's all you have to do.
Absolutely. So people fear carbs a lot. I think that's a good point you made, because especially when you're into endurance, you cannot miss out carbs. I mean, that is something you should.
That is your primary source of fuel.
Yes.
I mean, if you don't have enough glycogen storage, you're not going to have energy. Your engine is going to go bad.
True.
You may
True.
you may be able to last a week or 10 days, but after that, your body is just going to say enough is enough.
So holistic is more important than just picking any diet which has got a particular name.
Yeah, I mean, in my experience, it's the problem with an Indian diet or athlete's diet is portion control. And if you can teach people what portions you need to eat, and they start eating the right mix of carbs, protein, and fat, we shouldn't have a problem.
So the simplest thing we say is like putting protein in every meal. That is one thing sorted out, and then you plan your food around it. That is how it is. So how about hydration? What is the role of hydration, and how important is hydration?
Well, I mean, that is the basis, right? Your body needs water to sustain, and with exercise, especially in climates like ours, your water needs are much higher. So you're looking at 3 to 5 liters. Again, if you are just running up to a 5K or a 10K, you can get away with just plain water. There's no need to add any Anazol or Electrol or Fasten Up or any electrolyte supplement. Not needed. Exercise up to 1 hour 75 minutes. That's ample. Now, if you start getting above it, that's when your electrolyte need will increase, and that is the right way. Also, because your body does need sodium and potassium to continue for longer periods of time. So what I always advise my athletes is that if you can train with an electrolyte drink, train with it on the weekday. But on the weekend, anything beyond 75 minutes, whether it's a swim or a bike or a run, then it's hardcore electrolytes only in your bottle, and then keep water just to chase down.
Yes. So Kaustubh, when we are talking about hydration and when we are talking about the role of electrolytes, is the pattern different for a man and a woman?
Yeah, so like I said, because of the hormonal changes in females, it's important that you do understand that there are going to be exceptions to the rule. So whether the 3 to 5 liter rule may apply to majority people, there are a lot of my trainees who then after a run, whether it's 75 minutes or 90 minutes, say that they experience a dull headache all day. And that's just dehydration thanks to because of the hormonal changes. So what I always tell them is that immediately post run, they need to mix 1 liter of electrolyte and throughout the day keep sipping on it. I missed out on coconut water. That's a great natural source again of electrolytes, high in electrolytes. So post run, a lot of times our group will just catch a coconut vendor and have that energy drink right then and there.
Yeah, makes sense, definitely. So now that you are a coach even for triathlon and Ironman, can you just help the viewers understand what exactly is the difference between triathlon and Ironman?
So prima facie both are the same. Ironman is also a triathlon. It's just that triathlon, which is an Olympic sport, the distances are 1500 meters of swimming, 40 kilometers of cycling, and 10 kilometers of running. That's a basic triathlon. Half Ironman is 1900 meters of swimming, 90 kilometers of cycling, and then 21.1 kilometers or a half marathon. So a full Ironman is double naturally of a half. So that is 3.8 kilometers of swimming, 180 kilometers of cycling, and 42.2 kilometers of running. the formats for whether it's an Olympic triathlon or an Ironman is the same. It's always the swim is first, the bike is second, and the run is last. So the distances are the difference. That Ironman is a brand, and it is one of the toughest one-day events in the world, just purely because of the distances, and that you have three sports which at one point, swimming 4 kilometers was considered to be a marathon swim event, and 180 or a 200-kilometer cycle was a marathon cycling event, and obviously the marathon being the marathon, that was the prime phases that they started an Ironman because they wanted to see which amongst these three disciplines, whether it's a swimmer, a biker, or a runner, can handle it the best.
And you've done 40 of them.
I've done 40 of them so far.
Amazing. So, nowadays we see a lot of professionals who are getting into fitness and, running, or, like now training for triathlons. So what is it that, how do they strike a balance, and, how do they ensure that, or how many times in a week do they have to dedicate towards this training so that they get a fair picture about it? Like how you said, like women after their children have grown up started giving time to this. Same thing with working professionals, because they are like now getting into serious fitness. They have started, taking into running, or then they want to train further on, but then there has to be a schedule for it, and then you have to manage it with your work also. Then how do they go about it?
Yeah, it's important to work with a professional, to sit down or have a call and set some realistic targets, and then you need to start at the smallest door and then keep on opening bigger doors. I think it's great to have a goal of finishing whatever, a full marathon or ultra marathon or an Ironman, but keep in mind that when we were in school, there was a reason why we went to first and then second and then third. There was a natural progression till you went till the 10th. Similar to this, here it's even more important because we live very busy lives, very stressful lives, and let's be honest, for majority of the people, very unhealthy lives as well.
And socializing comes into play.
Socializing comes into play. Family dynamics come into play, work dynamics come into play. So now you have added something that is supposed to take care of yourself, but if that stress starts translating to this, it's not a good balance to have. So start slow, achieve one target, then move on to the next one. If you're looking for a full marathon, like I said, for an optimal training program, if you've done multiple halves, you need to be running 5 days a week for the 6 months or the 9 months leading up to a full marathon. There is no other way around this. Again, your commitment is about an hour 15 on a weekday, and then a little longer on the weekend. So maybe, one day of the weekend is going to be up to 3 hours. So you have to understand, do you have the bandwidth to put yourself through this?
So, how are your students coping with it? If you can just, quote some examples for people to understand that. Like, you have busy professionals who are also training with you. How do they squeeze in their time? How are they managing it? Like,
so most of them have to do the workout early on in the morning. There's no choice.
So they start the day early?
Yeah, all our workouts start at 5:30 in the morning, whether it's a swim or a bike or a run. So they're done by 6:30, 6:45. There's a lot of cases of women who will then quickly make tiffin or whatever, see their sons or daughters off to school, and then they go to the gym and finish off their workout before they start their work day, whether it's at 8 or 9 or whatever. There are some who, thanks to COVID, do get to work from home. So they do a workout in the morning, finish whatever they need to do in the house, start work, and then the evening is when they will do their second workout or whatever that is.
Correct.
Again, it's like I said, most of these people have that routine down. They know exactly what they're training for. A lot of times it's courageous that people understand it's okay to take a step back. That I have a lot of trainees who achieved an Ironman, and then the next year they said, you know what, I don't want to go through this again. I'm happy doing a half Ironman. That keeps me fit. I can dedicate a lot more time to whether it's work or family or kids, whatever that is.
So that realization is also very important.
Yeah. And if you have, again, an honest relationship with your mentor or your coach, whatever that is, then it's very easy to come to a crystal clear solution.
True. So, Kaustubh, you've coached over 1,000+ students. So, what is that one success mantra that you tell these students, which will be like a take-home message for the viewers?
Yeah, the number one thing I tell all my trainees is that showing up is the first step. So be consistent. Even more so on the days you don't feel like it. Just show up, do whatever you can do, and then understand that, even on the best of days, life is going to come in the way. So if you have a bad day, or you didn't sleep well, something happened at home, enjoy that rest day. Don't look at it as a punishment that you have to double up the next day or anything. No, it's part of life. Accept it and then come back the next day. So keep showing up, and that's going to be the take home message, I always say.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you. Conversations with you are always fun, always enlightening, and I'm going to call you once again for one such conversation.
Sure, look forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you.